Welcome to BSR TV for the iRacing Monthly Oval Series, Round 5 from Texas Motor Speedway, with me calling the shots on a Saturday night, Chris Cohen, joined by Linus Brustrom. Good evening, Linus.
Hello, Chris.
It's a monthly proposition, this one, so only once a month that we get to see the oval cars out on the track, and the guys are just qualifying now, so we're going to have a 5-minute closed qualifying session to give us a chance to catch up on some of the scores and things like that. But we've got about 20 cars heading down to the famous speedway down at Texas, and Texas is where people like to do things big, Linus. Huge place.
Yeah, it's a 1.5 mile oval. Provides some really good racing in real life placed, and some spectacular crashes as well, so we're in for a real treat here today, I hope.
Well, I'm sure that not every single car is going to make it to the end of this race, but hopefully these guys are tuning in this evening for more than just some wrecks. Otherwise, we might have a bit of a situation like we had last time round in round 4, where a lot of cars, either through disconnection or minor incidents, picked up damage over the course of the race, and very few cars actually finished that one. And let's hope for a bit of a different story this time. This is the nationwide Impala or Mustang, driver's choice, 200 laps around Texas Motor Speedway with an open setup as well, so drivers free to set up the car however they like. And being a mixed oval series, this one, we've got a lot of different disciplines. So last time out was trucks, the Chevrolet Silverados. This time it's the nationwide, and then the Generation 6 NASCAR will be featured as well. But let's have a quick look at the standings as they stand after 4 rounds, because one man a clear cut above the rest is Robert Plumley. He is an oval racer, a road racer, seems to do everything, Linus.
Yeah, we've seen him in a lot of different series, and he keeps doing well in all the series as well, so he's got his skills spread out over very many different cars on iRacing.
He's doing fantastically well in just about whatever he drives as well, so he's top of the table at the moment. Ellis Stevens, who I don't think is going to make this race, in fact, is 8 points behind, and then a further 28 back to Matt Dalton in 3rd. Jake Forster is 4th, Rob Ross 5th, 6th to David Stowe, and then 7th place is shared by Kai Barker and Tom Stanley. Now, a lot of these drivers unable to make this particular one, it being Saturday evening. It's not always the easiest race to make for everybody, but those that have will certainly benefit by moving up the table if they can score any points at all in this race. Dan Hunt is out there. He is currently in 9th place in the standings. Ken Bracing, Tom Drabble share 10th. 12th is Craig Burleson, and then Jimmy Young 13th. 14th shared by Richard Wild, Andy Oakley, and Steve Richardson 16th, another driver who I don't think is going to be around this evening. Simon Field, Paul Bird, Chris Bull, Steve Barsby, and then Laura Bond and Andy Baker take it to the 100-point gap there in 21st place. Aaron Maspero, who we haven't seen since his victory earlier this season, is in 23rd, and Brendan Kohler, who I don't believe we've seen since his victory in the very first race, is in the 24th spot. Plenty more drivers on the list, but we won't bother going any further down than that. These drivers are still qualifying for the moment, but it's not going to be a lot in it, I don't think. Let's have a look at the fastest times we've got. We don't actually have the information, close qualifying session, so going to be a bit of potluck, and well, it doesn't necessarily matter if you don't qualify pole, but it might be an indication of the pace these guys have in the race to come, Linus.
Yeah, you get 2 laps in NASCAR, and if you make a mistake off turn 4, you basically messed up both your laps. So if you set your lap time, it obviously shows you're fast, but if you mess up, it won't hurt you too bad, because it's a long race and not that many cars.
It's about the 29-second mark, hopefully, for a decent qualifying lap. Might see some low 29s in the qualifying trim, and this one is almost identical to the Lowe's Motor Speedway down in Charlotte, North Carolina, but the Texas Motor Speedway is a little bit faster. Like I say, they like to do things bigger and better in Texas. Huge place as well. So, qualifying session is now over. Let's see if we can find out who will be starting on the pole position, and we'll go down to the grid right now. I'll let you see some of these drivers getting ready with their nationwide cars. Why don't you give us a quick rundown on the grid there, Linus?
We're gonna have Matthew Dalton on pole position, Dan Heck on next to him on the outside, and Tim Rosano and Stephen Mattox in second row. Jaron Kaiser and Robert Plumley on row 3, Graham Short and Justin Egan on row 4. In the 9th and 10th we have John Jarron and Kevin Woods.
Excellent. Cars going right back there. Well, hopefully we've got about 25 going to be gridding up here. There's a nice Lotus. A Lotus themed... is that a Mustang? I think it might be. I don't know what that's got to do with oval racing. Lotus not really known for that. Although Jim Clark did actually win. I think it was in a Lotus at the Indy 500. No, is it the Indy 500? It was a long time ago anyway, but Jim Clark certainly proving what he can do even in that discipline. But nice to see a Lotus livery out there anyway, some nice ones out there. Just having a quick look down the list. They're always different every week, but any particular favourites that strike you, Linus?
I saw one earlier, I can't remember who it was. But it had very many colours on it.
Well, Dalton's got the Marlboro orange and black livery, the Marlboro Edge. Not sure how we should feel about cigarette advertising, but nice livery nonetheless. And next to him, that's Dean Heck there, with the Halverline number 64 car, the Mac Tool sponsorship as well. So we're getting ready to go onto the pace lap for the start of this 300 mile, 200 lap race here. Some gaps in the grid as well. These guys want to get out there pretty quickly, otherwise they're going to be starting on pit road. The car's underway anyway. So those nice empty stands you guys are seeing at home there are just a frame rate saving measure. Pleased to say it's not really going to be that empty anytime you see any of this kind of racing. So 2 wide all the way around, and then we will go green for the first time. How long do you expect this to last, Linus, before we see our first caution, or could it even go all the way under green?
I doubt we'll go all the way, but I think if they're patient enough we might get 30-40 laps before the first caution. Depends what kind of setup everyone's running. If they're running it very loose at the start, we might have a quick caution. But I've counted it down to 22 cars on the grid, so it should be a good race nonetheless.
Let's hope so. So Matt Dalton at the minute in the number 6 car on the inside with a new feature in iRacing, the coloured wheels. It's got the orange wheels to match the livery as well. Oil versus cigarettes on the front row of the grid. Now these guys want to take it a little bit easy coming around the first few corners. Those tyres will need a little bit of the time to get up to temperature, but Dalton is away with it already. Heck moves into second, and then Mattox in third, and the rest of the field kind of been left behind a little bit as our information just catches up here. Robert Plumley in the battle for 4th place right now. He's been pushed down to number 5. Everyone through the first corner, the first 2 turns fairly cleanly, but there's 2 wide. Robert Plumley next to the 50 of Justin Egan there, and Egan's taking the high line. Plumley's got him though, and Egan's now going to come under attack here, I believe. From Egan's got him front. Plumley is side by side with Jerome Kaiser. Kaiser running in the Sprint Cup series as well that we see on BSR TV on Tuesday nights here. Good start, Linus. Fairly clean.
Yeah, we had a few cars going side by side, and there's a spin on the back straight now.
Just as I said that. And who's that? We have lost Aloysius Visacesitin. Come on, that's not fair. You can't join a session like this when it's got English commentary with a name like that.
I think the guy who spun is Marcus Soshin, the number 28.
Ah, okay. Well, let's go back and see if we can have a little look at that. He's not even showing on our data at all. He's not showing us having any kind of information on his car. And the number 28 there with the red nose just gets into the wall on the outside and got tagged from behind there. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think that was Craig Burleson in the 93, just gonna run on him and probably expected the 28 to move down a bit more, ran into the back of him.
Well, the contact with the wall pushed him back out onto the racing surface there, and yeah, you can see that tags the wall there and then gets collected. I guess he was trying to hold his line, but anyway, gets tagged, and he is now on pit road as the leaders are pretty bunched up at the moment, Linus. 1, 2, 3, Dalton, Heck, Mattox.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for Matt to pull away now, unless they make a mistake behind him due to the draft that these cars produce.
Well, these guys under race trim are running about 29, 6, 7, 8 right now, and Mattox is in prime position really, because he's got the benefit of either of those cars. The draft of those guys will help him to the front when he wants it. He might just want to stay there for now. He's not really wanting to work his tyres too hard, go too heavy into any of these corners. Egan 4th anyway, Kaiser is in 5th, Racino moves into 6th and Plumley 7th there, and then a little bit of a gap back to Short in 8th, and then even more of a gap back to Buchanan and Witten, 9 and 10 just behind. This is a public session as well, Linus, it's worth pointing out, so league membership not required to actually race this evening, so we might be seeing some people we don't normally see of varying abilities, and that could play into the hands of the leaders.
Yeah, as long as some of those that usually aren't here don't take out any of the championship contenders, we should be fine.
Absolutely. Well, just a little bit of wall contact from Dean Heck on the previous 2 corners. Just saw that from the point of view of Steve Mattox on board, with whom we are riding right now. It didn't slow him down too much. Heck seems to be good to go. Might have just upset his rhythm a little bit though, and that's really important coming around the track like this. You need to build up a solid rhythm and stay with it lap after lap to avoid any unforced errors.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to get too hard in the wall, because that will slow you down pretty much and could get your car very loose, make it hard to drive.
Well, here comes Mattox on the inside of Heck, having to take an unusual line around the corner to get that one done, but does so. And Mattox's next target is race leader Matthew Dalton. Not running the Welsh flag this time. Normally we see him out in the Welsh flag themed NASCAR. I do like the paint on the number 18 though, Mattox. That paint scheme looking pretty good. And Heck's actually fallen quite a long way back, and I'm not sure if that's just because he left room. Maybe left a little bit too much room for Steve Mattox, but we seem to have lost Matt Witten. He is into the pit stall. Not sure why. Pulling out of the race. Let's go back and have a look on the replay then. So this is Matt Witten a few moments ago. All looks good. Was in about 10th place. Still looks pretty good. Yeah, that number 22 car. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. Whether it was a unforced error that led him to slide into the pits like that, or well, he's now pulled the car over, so we're down to 21 drivers, and I don't know. Too wide anyway at the front, Linus. Matt Dalton is down to 2nd place.
Yeah, Mattox was able to get around him pretty easily there. I don't think Matthew wants to battle him too hard now and use up his cars this early in the race.
Well, that's it's going to put some more pressure on Stephen Mattox up front. Just knowing that he's got these 2 guys behind him. At least he's got that clean air. I don't have to worry too much about making contact with anyone in front of him, but he can let that car breathe a little bit more easily now that there's no one out there in front on the track. And Cunningham, the last driver at the moment on the lead lap, He is currently running 20th, 28 seconds down. He's 14 seconds down from the next car in front of him, so a big gap already. And a nice battle building up here. Joshua Cotton for 11th place. He's being chased by Burleson Dahl and Rob Ross as well. That's Burleson in the 93 going down the inside. And Rob Ross is going to want to follow him here as well, and Dahl too. Rob Ross in the number 5, just bringing up the back of this little pack. There seems to be a lot of time given up by these guys going wide, letting their other drivers through. And Mason Dahl, who is currently running in the 13th spot, he's going to want to pick up where Plumley left off, Linus, and try and find his own way round Joshua Cotton up in front.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a struggle, though. They've had good pace, those two. I've been watching Craig Burleson through this race, and he's picked up a lot of positions as well.
Well, his number 93 is currently running in 11th place. I'm not really sure what that paint scheme is even.
Some kind of Pepsi, I think. Pepsi Max.
We'll get a little bit of a closer view. Yeah, that's clear now, isn't it? Pepsi Max, although it's very flowery. Anyway, the Fanatec sponsored number 26 is just behind, looking to get his position back, move back into 11th if he can. These guys currently 12 seconds behind the race leader, which is still Steve Mattox up front, and Matt Dalton not far behind, Dean Heck behind him, but that really is a breakaway group at the front, Linus, those three cars.
They've set a high pace now in this race, and it looks as if Mattox is going to be able to pull away from Matthew Dalton. Pull it up to 8/10 now and gaining more and more each lap.
His fastest lap is 29.5, and Matt Dalton's last lap is roughly on pace, although that gap is now 1 second. So with the speeds these guys are travelling, 1 second is a lot of distance on the track, and Dalton might now find himself out of that draft zone, whereas Mattox is going to pick up the draft from this back marker that he's coming up to pretty soon. His lap time's about 30 seconds. Slowest on the track is currently doing a 32.6. Most drivers are within that 30-second margin, and just the top 5 at the moment are doing sub 30-second laps. Dalton's reeling it back in a little bit. Not sure if Mattox made a small error there, but the gap's now down to 0.7. We'll keep an eye on this one. We'll see what's going on here. I haven't seen Steve Mattox out on the track before in a number 18. Certainly not in any of the previous rounds, although it's good.
We got a 3 wide situation down in turn 3, Craig Burleson, but they've gone down to 2 wide now.
Oh, thanks for that one. Burleson with the slight advantage. Here comes Rob Ross down the inside, and the 26 car, Josh Cotton, is blocked in. He's going to have to stay exactly where he is, as Mason Dahl is right up behind. Oh, the two cars almost side by side there. Into the wall. Josh Cotton gets that one a little bit wrong. It's going to cost him a few fractions of a second. And Plumley's got mugged by both of them down the inside. That's a great pass by Rob Ross as he moves past all 4 of those cars, and Mason Dahl takes advantage as well. Little bit of grass there from Josh Cotton as well. That could have been a little bit nasty, Linus, but he kept that one in check.
Yeah, fortunately, the grass in iRacing is a bit more forgiving than the real life one.
And also, look at this, the number 11, Doyle Lawrence, has just appeared as if by magic. Those front 2 are going to get away now. Burleson really struggling on the last few laps to keep with this group. He's got mugged by 4 cars in the last 2 laps, and that's the 77 on the inside there of Mark Cunningham, who's going considerably slower than these guys and blinking a little bit in the Steel Tools sponsored machine. But interesting that you were just saying, Linus, how Burleson was doing so well, clawing through the field, and now he seems to be back to square one.
Yeah, he got caught out in that situation, ended up in a bad spot, and as he lost one car, everyone just followed through. So he's gonna have to work his way up there again.
Well, riding on board now with Joshua Cotton in the number 26 car. He's got Rob Ross behind him, and Mason Dahl has mugged them both for now. Gets the job done. John Jarrett's that tiny speck in the distance right now. And Mason Dahl looking to move away from this group if at all possible, but separated by only 1 second than the next 5 cars. 25 under green here from Texas Motor Speedway. Looking pretty good, and we've had 2 incidents, but neither of them have been on the racing surface, Linus, so not triggering any cautions.
No, as long as the spinning car stays out of the racing line or well off the track, there isn't any need for cautions, so hopefully they'll keep up.
Well, as always, go on.
Burleson is making a move on Mason Dahl now. Or Joshua Cotton, rather.
Rob Ross not far behind either. These guys are going to be losing time while they're trying to overtake willy-nilly through these bends. And that's proved by the fact that these guys are trying to kind of bunching up and collecting the guys behind them in one big kind of super mob heading around this Texas Motor Speedway surface. The 11 car of Doyle Lawrence is already on the back of this, and look at this, Russell Palmer. Russell Palmer joins the fray as well, Linus.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for these guys to make mistakes to gain some positions. But it looks like he's got good speed here to follow these guys.
Not doing especially good lap times, but just because of the other guys swapping places so much. We've got a car down low there, that's Justin Egan. It's a very early pit stop if he's taking one right now. We'll stay with this one just for now because the front 2 looking to escape. Here he comes down the inside. Russell Palmer. He's through past 1. He's going to take Burleson as well.
Yeah, Justin Egan, he got in the wall coming off turn 4 on the last lap. That's why he went in the pits.
Well, he keeps that car going and we have no caution. So we're still under green and 28 to go, well 28 down I should say. We're about an eighth of the way through this race. So, Doyle Lawrence currently on the back of this group, but Russell Palmer has done extremely well to get past Burleson, and Burleson continues to shed places here, really. Finding it hard.
Yeah, I think he liked it when people just moved out of his way and he could pass them down on the inside, but as soon as someone started fighting him and made him go to the outside, he just lost his rhythm and pace.
Burleson in that Pepsi Max number 93 runs a little bit wide. That's going to open the door for Doyle Lawrence, and he says thank you very much, that's the easiest pass I've had so far. Burleson will latch onto the back of him, but that's Alexander Phillips in that Lotus themed car we were talking about earlier, and a lot of damage on the right side of that car, so I imagine he's been getting a bit too familiar with the concrete on the outside over the course of the race so far. Quite a long distance to cover here for these guys, so keeping your car in good condition is going to be very important for these guys. Burleson's way off the pace though, that's clear, isn't it?
Yeah, something must have happened to him now. He's falling way too far back from these guys. And he's getting passed by another car now.
Also off the pace right now is John Jarrett, as Mason Dahl and Joshua Cotton are already through. That blue number 59 is considerably slower right now than everybody else. Through goes Russell Palmer. Here comes Rob Ross. Rob Ross looking to make it too wide. Takes the low side, and he is through as well. Doyle Lawrence is behind. Seems like these 4 cars we've got here, Dahl, Cotton, Palmer and Ross, are all following each other quite nicely around the track, running a similar kind of pace, and it's just that first Burleson and then Jarrett. You never know, do you? These setups they've got, if they haven't tested them over a distance, they might well go off pretty quickly.
Yeah, people, especially on iRacing, they tend to make setups that work well for the first 10 laps and then they just don't know what happened to him.
David Hagens is into the pit lane. Not sure if this is a scheduled stop or not. Won't be too long now before we see the cars making their first stops under race pace. But I got a feeling this one's a little bit early. Well, new tyres for Hagens. Obviously feels like the ones he's got not good enough. And well, he'll get that car underway. Down in 19th, 2 laps down there. He's already lost a couple of laps. He's too far back to get any kind of benefit from that lucky dog now, although we haven't had any cautions yet. We're still on the green, 35 down, 165 to go here at Texas. Stephen Mattox, meanwhile, look at that gap, Linus. 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he's pulling away every lap now, and as he's getting into traffic, it's obviously gonna cost him some time, but when Dan Heck and Matthew Dalton catches up to the traffic as well, it's gonna even out again.
23 laps led for the number 18 car there. As he passes that back marker, he will put another driver a lap down. We've got 5 of those by my reckoning. The last driver on the lead lap is now Craig Burleson, and he is not on the lead lap by much. Well, Dean Heck puts the hammer down. He's cutting that gap a little bit to Steve Mattox, and Matt Dalton seems like a distant third at the moment, although we have seen him contend for the win in a lot of these races, and just doesn't seem to be that quick at the moment.
His lap times have gone up a bit in the last few laps here, and especially 2 laps ago he had a very slow lap. It was over half a second slower than all the other lap times he's done.
Well, half a second in any other sort of form of road racing would be fine, but here on the oval, that's an eternity.
Oh, someone's spinning right in front of him, down in the grass.
And it's not Hagen. Yeah, it is Hagens.
Yeah, it's Hagens.
Hagens with a big moment there. Let's go back and have another look at that one on the replay. The Castrol GTX sponsorship on the car, gets into the wall just as he gets passed by Dean Heck, and kept control of it well. Had to take a little bit of a lawnmower detour there, but gets it under control, gets that Mustang back on the black. And that wasn't really what he wanted after coming out the pits and getting new tyres.
It looks like he's been in the wall at some point, so he's probably got some damage that he's going to fix under the next caution.
I don't know if that upset Dean Heck's pace or rhythm, or just required a change of underwear or what, but that number 64 car is falling back into the clutches of Matt Dalton now. Very slow lap last time. I think perhaps he was just giving enough room for Hagens to make that mistake. Hagens now 3 laps down. Again. Oh, Kevin Woods. Is it? No, our data is...
Buchanan.
Our data is a little bit off there. See if we can get some pictures up for you.
He's just got himself loose coming off turn 4 and slipped through the grass.
Here's a replay of the 09. Yeah, there was nothing to it, was there? That Impala overcorrects twice. It's like a pendulum. Really no way of controlling that, and I think he is now out of the race.
Yeah, he's left us over.
Well, Mattox then leads by 2 seconds in this race, and Heck has re-extended his gap back to Matt Dalton to a 2-second gap as well.
And we're starting to see green flag pit stops now as Craig Burleson heads into the pits.
So the first one of our pitters under green, 42 laps down, so 158 still to go. It's going to be a long evening and a lot of pit stops for these guys to have to deal with this evening. So Burleson's in.
John Jarrett's in the pits just behind him as well.
New tyres for John Jarrett then, as he gets that number 59. out and away. And your own Kaiser also in for his first stop. Fuel and tyres, and he is off on his way as well. No sign of any stops from the leaders yet, but we should keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, I think these guys pits now because the leaders had just caught up to him and was about to put him a lap down, so they want to pit and get fresh tyres and get their lap times down to try and get their laps back. And hope for a caution at the end of this green flag stop cycle.
Ah, is it me or has Burleson been in there a long time? Burleson finally gets the number 93 off on its way, but he seemed to take a while in there. That pit time, well, not too bad. Take it back, not too bad.
No, he missed his stall the first time he went in, and then he had to come around and go in again.
Ah, that's what it'll be. One pit stop down from Matt Dalton, then comes out in 12th place. About to be passed by John Jarrett, getting his lap back. John Jarrett currently 15th in the order. But interesting that Dalton's deciding to get his out of the way nice and early there.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe they're starting to run out of fuel now, so... But he was dropping off the pace, so he needed new tyres to get back up to pace and catch a few seconds to the leader now, maybe when he's on new tyres.
Well, it's about 30 seconds. Slow the car down to the pit road speed, make your stop, take tyres, about 15 seconds, stationary in your pit box, and then get going again. Total time about 30 seconds until you're back up to race pace. As we see that from Rob Ross, he now drops back to 14th on the circuit. He's a lap down. Actually, only 8 cars now showing on the lead lap, and that will change once these pit stops resolve themselves. As well, that lead up front.
He's heading into pits as well.
Oh, a couple of cars in there. Phillips is coming in, and David Hagen's rather. They get their stops out of the way. Let's go over to Cotton then. He's taking on tyres in the 2.6. Maximum
Mason Dahl is in as well.
We just see him head to his pit box as Cotton gets the car underway. A maximum number of tyres in this race as well. You can't just take as many as you want, so drivers having to plan for this. And if we can go about, well, you know, Mattox is still out there, so we know we can get 50 laps out of these cars. If we can go 50 laps, it's going to be, well, he could do it in 3 stops. And that might be the strategy.
Yeah, if we get one caution though, that strategy will be all thrown out the window. As Dan Heck is coming into the pits now from 2nd place.
That moves Graham Short temporarily up to 2nd. Here comes Dean Heck. Where's the box? Where's the box? He's looking. Let's see if he finds it, because Craig Burleson did not. It can be difficult when you're used to looking at corner entry, the right line to take, and what's coming up on the horizon, to actually find your pit box in amongst this whole swathe of them in the pit lane. Can be tricky. Dean Heck has no problem with that. Takes on a fresh set of rubbers, and he will be on his way once again.
And the leader, Stephen Mattox, just went in the pits now. Putting Graham Short in the lead.
The leader pits. So Graham Short is definitely not short on fuel. He is still going.
He's coming into the pits in this lap now. He's down on the apron in 3 and 4.
So Plumley so far has not pitted, Cunningham has not pitted, and Palmer has not pitted, but I've got a feeling Palmer's on his way in.
Yeah, Plumley's in the pits as well.
We'll have to watch out for the other guys as well. Cunningham's still going round.
Palmer is going in the pits now.
Palmer is in, Plumley is in as well. So the first cycle of pit stops is about to complete in full. and that should put Steve Mattox back in the lead by, well, by a fair margin. But cold tyres on that number 18. He's been passed by Dean Heck. Those two had a very similar pit box time, but that's not the whole story, because you need to make sure you get that car slowed down. But if you slow it down too early before the pit lane speed limit begins, you're going to shed time.
Yeah, it's a real trick to get them down to speed without losing too much time, and then getting them back up to speed again down on the apron without spinning out.
It's big unwieldy beasts with huge engines and not really much aerodynamic performance compared to an open wheel racer. They don't like being manhandled at slow speeds, and they will give up and turn around under the slightest bit of throttle excess. Mattox down the inside of Dean Heck then. Well, I'm trying to work out right now, Linus. On my screen at least, our race leader is Tim Racino.
Yeah, it says here too, and Matthew Dalton is in second. I think Matthew might have taken 2 tyres.
Well, Racino must have taken at least 2 tyres, surely. I mean, surely well, Racino's got all kinds of problems with back markers now. He is the race leader, but under what circumstances? That's the question.
Yeah, he was in 15 laps ago from now, so he's got some laps on fresher tyres, giving him better pace than the others, so he's off cycle with these guys now.
And his strategy seems to be playing out to his oh, and the caution's out. Hagens has triggered the caution on lap 55, about a quarter of the way through this race. Let's go back and see what happened to Hagens there. And that's Mattox just coming through on the inside. Hagens is on an unfamiliar line there. Heck follows him through. Wow. Oh, it makes a collision with Dean Heck as well. David Hagens. And Heck survives. How, I do not know, but let's go back and have another look at that one once again. Here we are on board with David Hagens.
You have to be really careful on tracks like this when you're off the line through the tri-oval, because the car will snap around on you very quickly if you're not careful.
And that looks like it's what's happened. The car snapped around on him, and it just happened that Dean Heck was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he survived that, and that's incredible to me that he's managed to get out of that one. I wonder if we can go back and have another look at that from I don't think we've got the footage for that, so we'll go back to the live cameras. The first caution's out. Now this is going to play into the hands of anybody who had a particularly slow stop but is still on the lead lap. Everyone's pitted, but these guys taking the opportunity to pit again now.
Yeah, that's Tim Racino who pitted early, and also Matt Dalton, who probably took 2 tyres. They're pitting again now to get 4 fresh tyres.
Well, it seems like most of the field will be in here into the pits. We'll have to see.
Dan Heck will probably have some damage that he needs to repair as well.
Well, Graham Short stays out. For now, at least.
Good thing for Heck here is that we only have 9 cars on the lead lap, so if he decides to repair the damage he won't lose too much, but he gets going right away.
Well, the first caution of the day. On lap 54, I believe. So did quite well to get a quarter of the way through the race without anything, although Hagens had given us cause for concern a little bit earlier in the race. Rank and file then for the next few laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us, thanks for giving up your Saturday evening to watch some racing here on BSR TV. Although what else could you do with your Saturday evening than watch live iRacing? Can't think of anything better myself. And, your questions, comments, views, opinions, observations, anything in the YouTube comments would be very welcome this evening. Me, Chris Cohen and Linus Brostrom are in the booth, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing fairly soon. 2 stops then from Dalton, Racino, Mattox, Heck, Kaiser, Jarrett and Lawrence at the moment. a few other cars in.
Yeah, we had quite a few cars a lap down. Some of them decided to stay out to get a wave around and get back on the lead lap, and some of them decided to pit.
Well, where's Short? Short classified as the leader. I'm not sure if he is. Is he the leader at the moment?
Yeah, he stayed out of the pits, so he should be the leader.
And the lead car behind the pace car right now is Russell Palmer in that number 15, the bright yellow, with Craig Burleson just behind. But Craig Burleson is a lap down.
Those are guys staying out to get the wave around, and the one to go, to get back on the lead lap again.
So the lucky dog rule now implemented in iRacing, and we will see that come into effect here. Pretty sure it's active in this race, otherwise certain people wouldn't have bothered staying out. But interesting that, well, I mean, Heck comes in, having only just stopped, really. You must have done an extra 4 or 5 laps, so worth it, I suppose, taking on the extra fuel, etc.
Yeah, he also got hit from the side, so we probably need to check out how much damage he got from that. And
well, what's going? The pace car's not in.
No, it's
and they're waving around.
This time. All the lapped cars that stayed out gets to go around the pace car now to get 1 lap back. So we'll have 13 cars on the lead lap when we get to green. Graham
Short picks up the top spot behind the pace car, with Matt Dalton second, Racino's third now. And Dalton's second stop was very quick. Really quick. I mean, how is he going to stop that quick? Maybe he just took the other 2 tyres.
Yeah, maybe I can go back and have a look.
Yeah, we'll get an update from Linus when he has it. But this strategy could play out for Matt Dalton, who will be effectively on a fresher set of tyres than Graham Short, who has only stopped once.
No, Matthew Dalton just took right side tyres again, so he's still on the set of left sides that he started on.
Well, let's hope it doesn't slow him down too much. Pace car will be in. There it goes. It falls to Graham Short to lead the field away. Dalton gets on that throttle pretty quickly. Not quick enough though. He's going to get swamped by Racino and Mattox, who are right behind him. These guys need to take it easy. They've been 6 laps under the pace car with those tyres cooling down. And all of that advantage that Short had has just evaporated almost instantly, as Racino is now down the inside. Dalton follows. Mattox is coming as well. Graham Short's caught out by his cold tyres. Can't keep the car on the line that he wants. Down to 4th. Kaiser and Heck are coming as well. And Short is just getting absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, he might feel he doesn't have the pace for this track to just let these guys go and try to keep up with him. But I guess we'll see in the next few laps if he's got a problem or not.
Well, Racino sure kept himself very quiet, didn't he? We didn't talk about him much in the comms box, and didn't do much out on track, but has snuck himself into that number 1 spot. But as we've seen, Mattox seems to be the faster driver, as he passes Matt Dalton to take the 2nd spot back. Heck already back up to 4th. And now this is where it gets interesting. It's so easy to trigger another caution. They always say cautions generate cautions here. And can all these cars get into single file cleanly? Plumley and Ross are going at it. Plumley on the 47. Black roof, luminous green sides, and Rob Ross is down the inside. These two pretty high up in the championship as well, so any mistake from either of these guys would cost them fairly badly as we approach the 1/3 mark in this race. Ross going very, very low.
Plumley got in the wall there, bounced off it a bit, and Ross went down to avoid him.
Oh, defensive driving from Rob Ross. And that's Cotton just behind as well, so he might benefit from that Plumley mistake. Oh, Rob Ross sandwiched at the moment. Elsewhere in the field, up front, the lead 5 are still going at it. Racino, Matix, Dalton, Heck and Kaiser.
Burleson just went past Mason Dahl with some contact. But Burleson is a lap down, so he's looking to unlap himself right now.
Well, Mason Dahl goes too wide with Russell Palmer. Russell Palmer's down the inside there in the yellow 15. Well, a lot of action out on track all of a sudden. This caution has generated all of that. And Jarrett there is alongside the Lotus livery of Alexander Phillips, the 349. Phillips now on the lead lap, Jarrett not. So Jarrett's still a lap down, but he's unlapped himself effectively. And Phillips now has that group of Plumley, Ross and Cotton right behind him. So now it's a 4-car battle for the 9th place. Dahl and Palmer continue to swap places, Linus, and well, it's anyone's game up front.
Yeah, I think Matix will just take his time now, and then when he sees the opportunity he'll take the lead and pull away again.
Well, Ross through on the inside, Plumley follows. Now look at the right side of these nationwide vehicles, as most of them have big scrape marks from where these drivers have got a little bit greedy on the exits of some of these turns. So far most of them have survived, only one caution, and we're a third of the way through this race. So Phillips drops 2 spots down to 11th and has Cotton right behind him as well. Graham Short really not on the pace with the leaders. And that's Burleson! Burleson into the inside barrier. Gets it all wrong and triggers the caution. Second caution is out.
He just barely brushed the wall on the outside and couldn't keep control of the car and went down to smack the inside wall.
Let's have a look at that one on the replay. Well, I didn't know if the caution was going to come out there. I guess he wasn't on the inside. I guess he wasn't on the inside apron for long enough. Maybe just rolled onto the track and set it off that way. Around and round and round he goes. And that's the second caution of the day, leaders. Cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, we had a pretty long green flag run to start the race. Longer than I expected, really. But when the field gets punched up, like they do after a caution, it triggers everyone to go racing hard again.
Well, Racino waits for the pace car there and actually comes to a standstill on the track. That seems a bit unusual. And everybody back into the pit lane once again. Looks like Lawrence is staying out this time. But, Racino's in.
Yeah, Lawrence will lap down, so he can't pit until the next lap.
Dalton is in, and Short's in. Well, Dahl's in. There's Palmer. Everybody makes a mad scramble for that pit box once again.
Dan Heck just overshot his pit stall a bit and had to back up. That's going to cost him a couple of seconds.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the pit times here, but could be costly for Heck.
Matix is out in the lead, with Dalton in second and Kaiser in third.
Good stop for Steve Matix, a lot shorter than all the other cars except for Dalton and Kaiser, and that's why they were able to get the 1, 2, 3 there. Those are the only sub 15 second pit stops, everybody else taking at least 15. Racino with a very long 17 second stop there, and Heck as well, who we mentioned overshot the box. Good spot there from Linus. Second caution of the day with still 130 to go here at Texas. Well, it's still anyone's game. That first caution came just a little bit too soon after the first green flag pit stops there.
Stephen Matix is going back in the pits.
Well, his stop was short. Why would he be coming back in? Is he short fueled?
gonna go back and have a look.
Well, there you can see him coming along the pit road again. It's only costing him positions for no real understandable benefit at the moment. Just drives straight through.
Yeah, he took 4 tyres, so I don't see what the problem is. He might have been caught speeding, but I don't see why he would be back in the pits.
Well, speeding, he would have had to stop in his box, wouldn't he?
Now on the yellow you just get to start at the tail end of the field.
Well, that must be what it is. That must be what it is, surely. Well, let's see if we can go over and have a very brief word with Matt Dalton right now, because we are under caution, and he does lead the train at the moment. How's the race going, Matt?
Not too bad, actually. It's quite interesting. There's some good little strategies and things playing out. We had a good long run, so...
Well, we just saw Steve Mattox jump everybody in the pit stops and then go back in. Was he speeding?
No, I was just chatting to him, actually. He's made some changes to the car in this stop, and he's not sure how it's going to react, so he's going to go and sit at the back and make sure he can find out what it does safely. The new tyre model has changed things quite a lot with these cars, so they're tightening up really, really badly through the run. And because of that, we're all kind of trying to juggle things around in the stops to try and make adjustments to stop that happening.
Well, we've seen a caution breed one caution. Do you think we'll see another one?
They say cautions breed cautions. Hopefully not, but because another nice long run. I think the first long run actually helped me out. The strategy was working quite well. I had quite a good gap, so it'd be nice to have that again.
And very briefly, we'll let you get back to racing after this last question, but who is your biggest threat out on the track?
Oh, I've got to say Stephen Maddox and possibly Dean Heck as well, for definite.
Brilliant. Best of luck with the rest of the race, Matt, and hopefully we don't need to talk to you too many more times.
Ha!
On account of green flags.
It's always nice to chat to everybody.
Of course it is, of course it is. Good luck, Matt.
Cheers.
And that is Matt Dalton there, who's currently leading the race. Of course, when I said hopefully we won't need to talk to you again, he took it to mean he's rubbish, and I took it to mean we want green flag racing, Linus.
Yeah, it would be nice to see another green flag run here, at least to get past halfway.
So we've had a lot of retirements already.
Yeah, we had Dean Heck in the pits as well for that interview.
Well, there goes Dalton. Kaiser can't get past him until the racing has resumed, so he had to ease off a little bit, and he did well not to get mugged there. I thought he'd gone a little bit early. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he tried to jump to start and had to back out of it to not beat the leader to the line. Graham Short has had a terrible restart again.
He just can't seem to get those restarts going. It seems to be a problem on the colder tyres.
Someone's off in the grass in the background. I think that was Doyle Lawrence.
It is, it's Doyle Lawrence. He is off in the number 11. He's on the grass. We should be alright.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's brought the car in as well. Rob Ross in the pits under green flag with a very funny steering lock on that car.
Yeah, he's 3 laps down, so something must have happened to him.
And he gets the car going again. A Carlsberg Special Brew number 5. Well, we didn't see that one, but whatever it is, it's cost him. Dalton leads from Kaiser, from Dahl, from Racino. Alexander Phillips in that Lotus livery car. And then all kinds of action going on behind as Graham Short is overtaken by Cotton and Heck. Heck's down the inside as well. Short's taking the high line an awful lot, and Palmer's going to mug him as well. Palmer's coming round the inside now as well. Short's going to lose another position. Well, is it just that he's not good at restarts, or something else going on there?
He might have set up his, or made his setup to be very, very loose at the start and get tighter towards the end, faster after about 10, 15, 20 laps, something like that.
Well, 3 wide now, Plumley on the left, Cotton in the middle, Heck, and Cotton backs out. Probably for the best there, and Plumley has to stay on the high line, so Cotton should get his position back.
Slow car on the inside there, got loose.
Oh, contact! Heck's in the wall!
He saved it down on the grass, both of them. And
Oh.
someone's in the wall behind them as well.
how has he saved it there? He's got heavy damage. Heck's going to have to pull that one over, but how that was not a major accident, I do not know.
Big crash in turn 2 as well.
Oh, short, and that's Phillips, and big contact as well from somebody else. Well, it's all going on, isn't it? Let's have another look at that one. Let's go back to see Dean Heck, because he was out of shape, but it wasn't him, I don't think. It was...
It started with Alexander all the way back in turn 4 on the previous lap.
Well, Phillips gets into the side of Heck, and then Heck gets pushed out into the wall. It comes springing back across the track. Phillips, oh, and it's Cotton has jammed on the brakes to keep out of the slowed Phillips, and they're both going off at the same angle at the same time, in fact, and
yeah,
they narrowly avoid contact there. It's good car control from Heck to keep that one going. And then, well, let's go back to Phillips's car. There, Cotton comes back on the racing line. Now he comes back on the apron. I'm not sure if he's under control of his car or not, but there's further contact there. This time, I don't think Phillips is the guilty party there. He's turned around, and well, we're just watching this one on the replay now. Makes more contact with Cotton. And then the car snaps back the other way, and that's where the real collision happens with Short. Jarrett's into that as well, and I think Burleson just gets away with it, luckily. But that has destroyed Phillips's car. I can't imagine Short's is any better. And the 77 there, their 77 of Cunningham gets collected as well. But big crash for Alexander Phillips. In HD slow motion glory for you there on BSR TV, but oh dear.
What's happened to Rob Ross earlier as well is he's having some connection issues. And he's just disconnected again.
Well, John Jarrett was a major part of that accident through no fault of his own, I might add, and see if we can get a quick word with him now. You there, John?
Yep, hello there, how you doing?
Well, pretty good, but that must have scared you a little bit.
Yeah, I think I might have shut my eyes at one point.
Well, good thing you opened them pretty quickly, because you kept the car under control, kept it going. Doesn't seem to be too bad.
No, unless I got a free repair, I don't think I actually hit anything. So, I don't know, there was a bit of net code, but it looked like a car went pretty close to me, if not through me. So. Well,
yeah, on the replay there was definite contact, although you came out of it cleanly, so it must be some kind of netcode issue. It seemed to start with Phillips and Cotton. I don't know if you saw any of the build-up to that.
Yeah, it looked like a couple of cars just entering the tri-oval, and a couple more going across the start-finish, and then a couple more on the entrance of turn 1, and they eventually got it done. So.
Well, it's been a tough race so far for cautions. It seemed to be going so well, didn't it?
Yeah, the car gets so tight. I don't know what I'm doing with setting up the car, but Matt Dalton helped me a little bit to do some adjustments in the race, so I'm pleased with that.
Well, we'll have to see, because all the drivers we've been speaking to have been saying, the car really does tighten up, and what we'd really like to see is another sort of 50 or so of green flag racing, but I guess we'll have to see. And you're about midfield right now with some good chances for the race. You must be feeling quite hopeful.
I'm surprised I'm so high up, to be honest with you, so we'll see where I end up at the end day.
We'll let you get back to the green flag preparations. John Jarrett, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's John Jarrett there, and he is currently in the 8th spot. That did take a lot of cars out. We're down to 13 cars running now, so big attrition, Linus.
Yeah, good thing about that though is all the 13 cars are on the lead lap, so everyone's still got a chance to get away from here with a good position.
Very true. And Russell Palmer is currently going round, I believe, having regained the lead lap.
Yeah, he was in the pits there for a while to repair some damage, but he's catching back up to the field now as we got the 1 to go.
Well, how fortunes change. Championship leader Robert Plumley has not been out front in this race, nor has he been running particularly great lap times, but you never know. You never know. His strategy might be better than everybody else's. He might know something about the car setup nobody else knows, or he might just have more stickability than everybody else. We'll have to see. So we're less than halfway through now. We've been running about an hour here on BSR TV. This is round 5, the monthly oval series from Texas Motor Speedway. And we've still got 119 to go. Pace car should be in this lap.
Mark Cunningham is leaving a big gap there on the inside. Catching back up now.
Yeah, interesting that. I mean, there's no rule to say that you have to stay on the back bumper or fender of the car in front, but most drivers just tend to do that anyway, don't they? Here we go, green flag once again. Matt Dalton to lead the field. Almost some contact between Dahl and Kaiser just off the restart there, Linus.
Yeah, the field gets pretty bunched up, and if someone doesn't go, or if someone doesn't hold his line, you only get contact pretty quickly.
Well, Dalton's mugged them. He's got a decent advantage here, as he leaves them to sort it out themselves. Kevin Woods in 4th position now. We haven't really seen much from him as he drops down to 5th, but let's go back to Graham Short again, because he's been particularly poor off the restarts. And, well, it's difficult to say now because he's not got any other cars around him. Burleson's still going after triggering that caution, not the last one, the one before.
And Tim Rosano has been turned around by Duran Kaiser coming off turn 2.
Oh, Jarrett just staying out of that one. Plumley's involved, Burleson's involved. Oh, Racino, what has happened to you? Let's go back and have another look at that one. So Racino looks round the inside of that 23. That's Mason Dahl just up in front of him. I know those 3 cars were too close. Kaiser needed to back out of that one, I think. And that's Kevin Woods collected. And Mattox is in that potential race winner there. Plumley so very nearly got away with that one, but he ran out of road. And contact with the wall there. Once you make one, it's kind of hard to stop. Burleson nowhere to go. Those cars all over the place. It's 4th caution in a row now, and it's well, it's getting pretty embarrassing for these guys out there. Plumley gets the car turned around. Burleson reverses right back into the path of Woods. Racino's pulled it off the track. How's Mattox doing? That's the question. Seems to be quite a bit of damage on that car. And he pulls it into the pits. This could be the last time he pulls it into the pits. Well, we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye on Steve Mattox for now. With that Team Doghouse livery. Well, he'll be putting some people in the doghouse for causing that one and getting him so much damage if he can't get that car back out on the track. Plumley in behind him with a Monster Energy. Well, let's see now. Well, he hasn't pulled it over, so he feels confident enough he can keep it going.
Yeah, every driver is given, I think it's 1 or 2 quick repairs as well. So if he hasn't used that already, he could have his car fixed pretty quickly.
Although, I don't think you can choose to use it, can you? I think it just triggers when you come into the pits.
Yeah, maybe he's just left the pits now.
That could be the end. Oh no, he's back.
Yeah, he's back. That was just connection.
And he's gone again. Viewers at home, place your bets now. Will Mattox continue, or has he gone? He's back out on the track. He's back off the track. He's back out. No, he's gone. I think he's gone now. I think that might well be the last we see of Steve Mattox in this particular race. Which would be a shame. We're down to 11 cars. 11 cars left in this race after running for about an hour.
Russell Palmer is going back on the track now with a heavily damaged Chevrolet.
There's a lot of damage on that car. Still 115 to go here at Texas. Will we get any cars that make it to the finish line? That's the question. Well, that's kind of getting a bit ridiculous, but a bit more space for these guys anyway, now that there's only 12 cars in it. Not 11 cars in it, I should say.
Yeah, if they can all just settle down now and take their time, get single file quickly, we should be able to get a few more green flag laps in before we get into the caution.
I believe we're down to 10 as Kevin Woods decides to pack it in. So we started with 22, was it?
23 actually.
23 cars at the start, only 86 laps gone and 13 of them have fallen by the wayside. Burleson is in, Palmer is in. These guys look like they're taking regular pit stops rather than pulling it off through damage.
Yeah, they're getting as much repairs as possible then now under this caution. So it looks like they're going to try to keep going.
Well, they might as well, because the points are on offer even if they just finish now, or you never know who's going to pull out of the race in front of you. You can move up the positions just by other people pulling out of the race, so worth it probably for these guys. Just to keep it on the track and keep it going. The 93 of Craig Burleson makes its way out onto the apron and onto the circuit once again. Mason Dahl up front at the moment. And after our 4th caution in a row, about the halfway point of this race, Linus Brustrom, we are going to take a 5 or 10 minute break here on BSR TV. And when we return, hopefully we'll have some nice green flag racing for you guys. So back at Texas Motor Speedway in about 5 or 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Back with you in no time. Welcome back to BSR TV. The monthly Oval Series round 5 is underway. We are under caution, 94 laps into Texas Motor Speedway. We're looking at third place man Mason Dahl now. When we left you guys, we were under caution. We are still under caution. We are under a separate caution now. It's still going on. See if we can get an update from one of these drivers, if we can. Let's go over to Matt Dalton if we can and ask him what's going on, Matt. Seems to be a caution fest at the moment.
Well, yeah, they say cautions breed cautions, don't they? I think, unfortunately, we're doing the usual. Everybody's trying to drive a bit too hard, a bit too early, and it's not leaving very many people able to get around, which is a bit of a shame, but...
Well, it's clean for you so far, isn't it? No damage on that number 6.
Nope. I'd say I'm quite happy with the way things are going at the minute. Tickety boo, I think is the expression.
The guys from Marlborough will be especially pleased to see their car in one piece.
I wouldn't like to comment for them.
No, of course not. And, well, you've seen your main rival eliminated, Steve Mattox, getting caught up in one of those cautions, one of the many cautions, and, well, should be plain sailing from here, surely.
You never say that, but I think for definite, you know, the car's good. I've made a couple of changes in the last pit stop, so I've got it where I'm happy with it. Yeah, I think, you know, cautiously optimistic. If I can just keep doing what I'm doing and get away, then all good. I should be all good. A nice long green run would be good.
Well, good luck for the restart. Pace car in this lap.
Cheers, Chris.
And we'll see you back out on another caution in a few moments, no doubt.
I hope not.
Thanks, Matt. There we go, there's Matt Dalton once again lining up at the front for another restart. This will be the 5th in a long line of cautions that we've had here, and looking forward to some more green. We say this every time, don't we? We're looking forward to some more green flag racing, Linus.
Yeah, I think these guys aren't as patient as they need to be. And this last caution was a pass for the lead. Mason Dahl got on the inside of Joshua Cotton, got loose and took him out.
Cotton is out, Mattox is out, Woods is out, Racino's out, Heck is out, Phillips, Ross, Lawrence, Hagens. But that guy whose name I can't say is also out. Dalton leads the field away again, and Kaiser looks like he gets a little bit over enthusiastic at the start again, has to hold back a bit, it's going to cost him. Burleson moves into 4th. Dahl is blinking a little bit. Might need to worry about that one if he gets in close proximity with any other cars. Looks down the inside, not going to make the pass here on Dalton, so Kaiser now down to 4th. Jarrett up to 5th, running very well. And, well, he's dodged 2 bullets in the form of big 2-ton nationwide bullets, really, that he's managed to dodge in the cautions that we've seen so far. And we spoke to him a little bit earlier, Linus, and he seemed to think that he's currently running a little bit above his station and is fortunate to be where he is. But what do you think?
Depends on how many cautions we'll get and how many cars will finish, but if these guys stay in the race, I think he's going to finish in the top 5.
Burleson now attaching himself to the rear bumper of Mason Dahl. It's going nowhere fast, almost makes contact. Don't want to do that in a turn.
Has to be careful with Dahl as well, as he's blinking a bit.
Of course, yeah, and just to explain to any viewers at home not familiar with iRacing, if your connection is not stable, you will disappear. And that's to try and stop you jumping around to various places on the track as they go too wide. Dahl is still blinking, so his connection is not holding up exceptionally well. The real danger with blinking is not when the car disappears, it's when it reappears, and you don't want it to reappear right in your path, because it can take you by a huge amount of surprise. Graham Short holding on to 6th place right now as Burleson looks to go around the outside. Dahl should hold on to that one.
Burleson had a bit of contact with the wall going off turn 2 there as well, but nothing major.
So the top 10, we don't even have a top 10, we've only got a top 9 now. The last place car, Robert Plumley, in 9th, is, well, Burleson's making a meal of this pass, I've got to say. He's got to go down the inside, and he's got to make that work down the straight, really. Plumley now 7.5 seconds off the lead, and this little scrap is allowing Dalton to start to pull out in front. Again we see Burleson use the high line. I'm not convinced that high line's going to get him into second place, Linus.
No, he's trying to get to the low side, but Mason Dahl is covering it up very well, as you can see right there, so he has to go to the high side.
Well, if I was Mason Dahl, I might be tempted just to let him go and latch onto the back of him for now.
There we go, he's around him.
It took a while to get that job done, but that has allowed Kaiser to latch onto the back of this group as well, and Jarrett's not far behind them either. Plumley currently running 31, so he's got some work to do to get back on the pace, but we're not sure about damage, so might be a load of damage on that car that we're not aware of, that's costing him about a second a lap off the rest of the group. 102 down, 98 to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. It's a long oval race when you've only got 9 cars on the field, but we'll entertain you as best we can for the rest of this race. And to fill you in on the rest of what's going on at BSR TV right now, an exciting lineup. Monday night, Skip Barber from 8:40 UK time. The open wheelers are really the top in their class. Absolutely fantastic drivers in that series. Huge grids as well. We saw 50 plus cars at Interlagos in the last race of the season, and the new season shows no sign of slowing down either. Tuesdays, the GT Sprint Cup, the McLarens, the BMWs E4s and the RUFs take to the track. Again, huge grids there. Grids big enough that not everybody that qualifies will get into the race. There's that many people wanting to take part in that one. 2 races with a reverse grid in the second race, and that's from 8:15 on Tuesday evenings. And then Thursdays, the main feature, the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. The touring cars were out last Thursday at Spa. Action-packed as always, a huge number of cars going down to the grid there, and they're back on Thursday once again from the Grand Prix circuit at Suzuka for the first time in that series' of history. Should be a fascinating one. You driving that, Linus?
Yeah, my team Movigo Racing won the championship last season and we're in the lead now, so we'll just keep pushing on and do our best.
Some tough competition as well in the form of Wojtek Savidovic, who comes into that series from the Skip Barber series and has shown, well, nothing short of exceptional pace there, and also the likes of Ash Sutton for CQR, who is a real-life racing driver in the MSA Formula 4 Championship on the British Touring Car weekends, and he is stiff competition. But you guys holding your own in that one, so Thursday is the time to make even more of a lead for yourself in the team standing, surely.
Yeah, it's all about getting all 4 cars in the team across the finish line to score as many points as possible in that series.
Well, Mason Dahl holding on to 3rd place now as the cars start to separate themselves out a bit. Burleson in 2nd, a fairly comfortable 2nd now, having passed Dahl. He must have known that Burleson's got more pace. He's actually running on a similar kind of pace to Matt Dalton now. If anyone can challenge his lead, it's going to be Craig Burleson. 107 down, 193 rather to go.
Craig Burleson has gained 1.3 seconds in the last 6 laps on the leader Matthew Dalton. So
Well,
that's going to be a battle in a few laps.
Might well be that. Well, we saw Burleson take on some heavy damage, so maybe he took his free repair and got that damage out of the way. But might well be a setup benefit to Burleson's car at this stage of the race. We went green around lap 95, so probably a 145 before the cars come in again. And if we're green all the way to the end, it's probably another 2 stops from here. Not sure any drivers would want to take 1 stop there if they can avoid it. And well, we heard from Dalton before that the setup gets very tight when you've been running this car for a while on the circuit, and that means that these guys are going to be pushing their tyres harder than they would otherwise and making more mistakes. So the longer you run on these setups, the trickier it seems to get, and that might mean that we could see some cars coming in fairly soon to make their penultimate stop of the race, But it's just a gamble to do with cautions, really, isn't it, Linus?
Yeah, you don't want to get caught out being a lap down if you're running near the front, because then you'll just have to start them back. But then again, we've only got 9 cars on the lead lap left in the race, so you won't be too far back.
That's right, every car now, right now is on the lead lap. Only 9 remaining out of 23. Mason Dahl is being chased by your own Kaiser right now. Very similar sort of pace they're running. Kaiser seems to be keeping a tighter line right now, and Dahl getting very, very wide on the corner exits. Getting a little bit too close to that Texas Motor Speedway concrete on the high side. Keeping it in check for now. Might be seeing an attempt for third place from Kaiser any moment. Burleson continues to erode that lead down to 0.7 seconds up front. The only driver currently running sub 30-second lap times. He's only made 2 stops as well. Cunningham has only made 1 stop, and he's currently running in 7th, so that's not right, surely.
He must have been in more than once, probably a few times under caution, but...
Well, according to this information, Russell Palmer has been in 8 times, and he's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, if you get damaged and have to pit under caution, you can pit a couple or 3 times even without losing a lap if you time it right.
That would appear to be what he's done. And Plumley continues to struggle. He's picked up the pace a little bit, but he's 10 seconds off the back. And, well, he's about 8 seconds away from being lapped, in fact. So he could be the first car to go a lap down.
Matthew Dalton has picked up the pace now, pulling away from Craig Burleson.
Excuse me, clearing my throat there. And, well, yeah, Burleson was running some pretty fine lap times, but that's the response from Matt Dalton, isn't it? Let's get on with this. You must have noticed that gap coming down. It's now back up to over a second. And really, he's running a bit of a solitary race ever since that restart. He's got himself a nice lead. He'll just keep that lead, won't he? He's not pushing the car too hard. He doesn't need to get out a huge margin in order to win this, and he'll know that.
Yeah, he's got a very stable setup now, and it looks like Craig Burleson's setup has run out of speed now, because he dropped half a second on that last lap, and I didn't see any mistake from him.
Oh, I think we've lost another one, haven't we? Mark Cunningham seems to have dropped out of this one. Seems to be 8 cars remaining. Dalton leads from Burleson from Dahl, Kaiser 4th, Short 5th, Jarrett, Palmer, and then Plumley in the 8th position, and that is the final position on the circuit, as we have lost a huge amount of cars. We lost Egan and Witten pretty early on. I'm not even sure if Dan Hunt started. Lawrence is out. Hagens we saw get into all kinds of trouble earlier on. Ross was caught up in that incident with Phillips and Heck. Heck was running very well. Maddox caught up in a subsequent caution through no fault of his own. The same with Woods and Cotton. But Cunningham is the latest retirement, so that's I make that 15 cars out of 23 have now retired. 2/3 of the field, Linus. Not a very good survival rate.
We were hoping to have at least half the field left at this point of the race, to have some good racing, but in NASCAR you can never predict what will happen. Mark Cunningham as well dropped out of the race due to connection issues, and it doesn't look like he's going to come back.
Well, it'd be nice if he could reconnect and get that car going again.
He's coming back now. But he'll be 5 laps down by the time he gets back on the track, so we'll see how long he stays.
Well, he might as well stay. Well, it doesn't matter actually. Whether he stays it or not, he'll still classify 9th. So it's entirely up to him whether to continue or not at this stage. He will score the points no matter what at this stage. Cotton will be classified as 10th, and Maddox in 11th. So there are a lot of points on offer. I mean, they go right down to places. So if you can, I mean, Cunningham starting up again. If anyone else retires from this race, he'll pick up further places, even though he is 5 down. 80 laps to go, still 120 miles round Texas Motor Speedway here. We're looking at Robert Plumley drive around the track in solitude at the moment. 13.5 down behind Russell Palmer in 7th spot. And there we go, Mark Cunningham takes his car back out of the pit box any moment, gets it underway. Good on him. Dalton's lead is now 3.5 seconds, Linus, and Burleson's going to be in trouble soon from Dahl and Kaiser behind.
Yeah, he's dropped off his pace big time. He must have been overdriving his tyres at the start of that run. Or maybe he's just got a short run set up. I don't know, but his pace has dropped way off.
Well, now here's the thing: if these drivers can assume that there will be green flag racing till the end,
Burleson's in the pits.
That's what I was going to say. It might well be for him to change his tyres now, and then once more before the end of the race, knowing that these other drivers have to stop twice. It will put him at a disadvantage at the end of the race, being on older tyres than everybody else. But you never know. That's going to drop Burleson. Well, it's going to drop him right back to last place, except for Mark Cunningham.
Robert Plumley is going to lap down as well. So Burleson is not going to be in the lucky dog position if the caution comes out.
And that lucky dog will give a go around to the first driver, who is a lap down, who is currently Robert Plumley. And that's going to be a huge benefit to anyone at this stage if the caution does come out, because it probably means further retirements. And what we can't afford right now really is further retirements, because there's 9 cars, there's only really 8 still in contention. 2 of those are a lap down. Cunningham is now 8 laps further behind the leader. Dalton's gap is absolutely huge. 4.5 seconds it is now back to Mason Dahl in second place in that 42. Dalton's just cruising, Linus.
Yeah, he's set his pace and his lap times isn't really dropping in either, so he's got a very good setup in that car.
Nobody is in the 29s round here at the moment. Dalton is in the 30s. The quickest guy out there on the track right now is actually Graham Short. Surprisingly, but that is the truth of it. Graham Short is not far behind your own Kaiser, in actual fact. He's been moved up to 4th place, and it looks like, Graham Short, not really the most extravagant, spectacular driver out there, but just holding his own, really. I mean, just picking up places through sheer driving consistency.
Yeah, we've not seen him make any mistakes today, apart from the restarts, but well, as he gets going, he's up to pace and making some passes and just staying out of trouble.
And now Burleson's back out on fresh tyres. He is the quickest man on the circuit, as we see Short down the inside of Kaiser, who runs a little bit wide there. So Short up to 3rd position. Burleson still a lap down, and we've had another pit stop there from John Jarrett. We see him emerge back out onto the apron.
Matthew Dalton's in the pits from the lead.
So penultimate stop, one more stop will be required. Dalton feels like now is the right time, and he was an early pitter the first time around as well. Let's see what happens to Dalton here. How many tyres will he take? We saw him take 2 before. I don't believe he's changed the left side tyres yet.
He might have done under one of the cautions earlier.
Well, there's the right side going on.
He's taken 4 tyres this time.
4 tyres for Matt Dalton will give him a pit stop time of 15.5 seconds. Gets out at the right at the front of the pit lane, I should say, and then pretty much straight on the throttle. Mason Dahl is now your race leader, but more stops to come. How long can these guys run? We went green flag racing about 95, which was about 35 laps to go, and we know these cars are good for 50 if they can push it out that long.
Jaron Kaiser is going in the pits now.
Kaiser in the 23 machine is in from what would have been 3rd place. And, well, a few guys now are lapped down through those pit stops. Dalton now running behind Burleson.
So that strategy worked out well for Burleson so far.
Although he's still not
bit
on
early.
the he's still not the leader on the lap down, is he? So Plumley is still the highest placed lap down driver.
Yeah, I think he's yet to make his pit stop though.
And will the caution come out before he needs to do that? That's the question. Anyone making yellow flag pit stops will be at a significant advantage here.
Yeah, it looks like Mason Dahl is coming in the pits now as well. No, he was just going slow on the inside.
Dahl stays out then, but Graham Short is right behind. And they're running similar kind of lap times, but these are very slow laps, really. Dalton running well over a second a lap quicker right now on those fresh tyres.
Yeah.
So it's playing into his hands right now, but it might not do so right at the end of the race, because if it's called upon to sprint to the finish line, the drivers with the fresher tyres will have the advantage, and that might be the guys that stop latest in this race. Caution could change all that. Only 3 cars now on the lead lap. These 2 guys and Russell Palmer running on his own in the 3rd position.
Craig Burleson just moved into the lucky dog position.
So Plumley now dropping behind Craig Burleson. Plumley's tyres are much older. He's running 31.5 second laps.
Dahl just got in the wall and Short is taking the lead.
Mason Dahl. Wow, he needs to sort that car out, I think. There he is, into the pits this time.
Yeah, he just ran a bit too fast off turn 2, smacked the wall a bit, allowed Short to get by him.
I wonder if that was his plan all along, or wonder whether his intimate moment with the concrete made him decide to pit early. We'll never know. None of these guys will be able to get to the end of this race with just 1 stop, by our reckoning. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, about 50 laps in the tank of fuel on the green. So, could be if Short wants to stretch it out, save fuel for a couple of laps on this run, and then on the last run he might be able to make it with 1. But if the caution comes out, that strategy won't play out very well for him.
Well, that would be one of the most interesting things to see if a caution were to be thrown at this stage. Your own Kaiser coming up on the back of Mason Dahl very quickly there. Gets round him into the 6th position. Dalton currently running 4th, but odds on to win this race. If anyone was going to do it, it's probably going to be Matt Dalton at this stage, although Burleson's strategy might well be better. Dalton has the lap times at the moment. He is under 30 seconds. Nobody else can do that.
Craig Burleson has run a few laps more on his tyres as well, so he's going to be pretty much slower than Dalton now.
I believe Burleson only took 1 side as well, judging by the pit time. 8.7 compared to 15.5.
That would explain the big gap he had to Matthew as well.
John Jarrett now down to 8th position. I believe he's stopped again. Must have done. 2 laps down. Mark Cunningham is in the pits again. I'm not sure if he plans to carry it. Hey, he does. He gets out of the pit box and gets underway again. He's now 8 laps down, but I don't suppose it matters how many pit stops he takes at this stage as long as he brings that car home. Dalton right behind Burleson.
Yeah, and they're catching up to race leader Graham Short, so they're about to unlap themselves as well.
And Graham Short running 0.7 of a second slower per lap than these 2 guys right now, so it won't be long before these 2 guys make the pass on Graham Short, get back on the lead lap. Burleson currently the lead driver a lap down. Only 2 drivers on the lead lap. The guy you see in front of you, Graham Short, and then Russell Palmer, who is 16 seconds down at the moment. Graham Short and Palmer are yet to stop again, and they will need to do that fairly soon. Burleson down the inside. Here comes Dalton. Short gives them plenty of room. He's not going to put up any kind of fight for those guys unlapping themselves. And Dalton and Burleson are actually racing for position. It's worth pointing that out. Dalton has the pace right now. Burleson has the upper hand for now. Well, it could be anyone's. Could be anyone's as Dalton has a sniff down the inside. Burleson's going to try and force him around the long way if possible.
Dalton knows he's got the better tyres though, So he's gonna just take his time and wait for a big gap and then move past Burleson pretty easily, I think.
And those left side tyres on Burleson's car will be looking rather worn at this stage, I imagine, seeing as he hasn't taken any in quite a while. Driver's free to take as many or as few tyres as they like. Obviously you can't take more than 4, that would be really pointless, but you could take as many or as few as you like in one stop. There are limits to the number of sets you can take across the entire race, but there's plenty to go around. As Dalton down the inside now takes that second spot back. Those two drivers back on the lead lap, so 3 drivers on the lead lap. And Palmer has made another stop. So the last guy to stop, I think, on this round of pit stops is Graham Short. And I tell you what, if Graham Short can stretch this out, Linus, for another 9 or so laps, he will only need to stop once, and that will give him the win, surely.
Yeah, I hope that's what he's doing, because if that's not what he's trying to do, I don't see the point in this strategy, really. He'll need to stretch it out about 2 or 3 laps per run more than what they've done today.
Well,
but if he takes it easy and saves his fuel, he could do it, and that will surely give him the win.
Well, about 8 laps to go to make that certain for Graham Short. And he is in. So can he get 58 laps out of one pit stop? That's the question. And what damage is that going to do to his tyres if he decides to do that? We thought we might have seen some fuel saving going on from Graham Short, but I don't think he's gone far enough into this race to make it work, do you?
No, he's gonna have 57 or 58 laps to save fuel now, so I don't think he's gonna make it from here.
Graham Short in. He takes the right side. And the left side's up on the jacks now, so he's taking the left side as well. Graham Short's away. So, well, what can he do from here?
5th place.
He's only 16 seconds behind, and it's a 30-second stop, so he's on the fresh tyres now, he's got an advantage. If he can make that, what a win that would be. If he could make that work, 57 laps. I don't know how he'd do it. Bearing in mind these other guys have got to stop, then he'd need to save enough fuel. He can only give up 16 seconds to do it. So 16 seconds a lap, not a lap, 16 seconds total. He could afford to be about 0.4 seconds slower a lap than all these other drivers in order to save fuel. And that's not much of a margin.
I don't think you'll save that much fuel going that fast, so he's gonna have to pit again, I think.
In any case, he will be on some pretty nice tyres when it comes to the end of the race, if he chooses to take tyres. Don't forget he could just splash and dash right at the end of the race.
Yeah, problem for him now though is he's 20 seconds back, so he's got 8 seconds up to the closest car in front of him at the moment, so he's gonna have to pick his pace up if that's gonna work out for him.
He's on the freshest set of tyres out there on the circuit at the moment. Dalton, having led 70 laps of this 200 lap race from Texas Motor Speedway, is in prime position to take the victory, now leading by 5 seconds over Craig Burleson, and these cars are spread out hugely around this world famous circuit. It's looking good for Dalton, unless Short has that surprise up his sleeve. The caution once again could throw everything out of the window. But we've been going for about 50 laps since the last one. We had a stint of cautions, Linus, about 5 in the middle of the race.
Yeah, one incident, and then guys just wasn't patient enough when the green flag came back out and didn't give each other enough room.
That's
and
right, it was about 5 in a row. 50 laps of cautions.
Yeah, not what we want to see when we don't have more cars than we do.
And the caution's the reason why we have so few cars, really. I mean, we were talking about spectacular crashes beforehand, and this race certainly didn't disappoint, but 23 cars starting. Only 9 running, one of whom is 10 laps down. Well, this man is in the middle of the field right now, Graham Short in a 65. I really want to know if he can do this. 52 laps to go. He's picked up the pace quite a lot. Even if he can't make it work on fuel, all he needs to do is stop and take, what, 5 or 10 litres, maybe a gallon or 2, and then he's good to go to the end. So that last pit stop is going to be incredibly quick for Graham Short.
Yeah, he's going to save quite a few seconds there. But it doesn't sound, from the onboard camera, it doesn't sound like he's saving any fuel at all here, so...
Well, who knows
what he's going for.
Yeah, who knows what his strategy is at this stage. Kaiser is right behind Burleson, who holds on to second place right now. Looking down the inside.
And Burleson just moves out of the way, really.
Very wide line from Burleson. I'm not sure if he didn't make contact with the wall a little bit there. Seems to survive though, and he's going very slowly. 31 second laps. And that gap with Graham Short is coming down. It's coming down quite a lot. He's now 6.5 behind Mason Dahl in front.
Yeah, he's keeping an even pace with our race leader Matthew Dalton at the moment. So he's doing pretty well back there.
The gap to the race lead for Graham Short is 20 seconds. And he won't make up 20 seconds on the final pit stop, even if he only needs a little bit of fuel. And we'll see.
He could be on for the 3rd place here though, because Craig Burleson, his car is not very good in the long runs. We saw him pit first of all, and now he's already dropped 2 seconds behind Jeroen Kaiser in about 2 laps.
Well, any of these cars could pit now and make it to the end of the race on fuel. It's just a tyre situation really, and we know these setups get very tight once a few laps are under their belt. So Burleson would feel free to pit any time his tyres are giving him problems, but almost 31.5 second laps, he really needs to do something about that. If it's his driving style, he needs to pick it up. If it's his tyres, he will need to work on that setup a little bit, as much as possible in car, and see if he can get more life out of those tyres, because he doesn't want to have to stop twice. He just wants one more stop, and he needs to make those tyres last.
Yeah, he's not been able to run very many laps on his green flag after his pit stops, and he's just pulling in the pits again.
He is in the pits, in fact, yeah,
So he's gonna make another pit stop in this race, I think, because his car isn't gonna make it to the end without him getting in the wall.
he hasn't been able to make his tyres last. He's been fast in places, slow in other places. He has been exceptionally fast on coming out of the pits, but it seems to be just wearing out his tyres a little bit too much. So Burleson in again. Does he take all 4? He does. And another car into the pits is Mark Cunningham. Cunningham currently running in 9th place, a full 10 laps down, so really out of the running, just in it to stay in his current position and make as many points as possible happen for him at the end of the day. Burleson pulls the car away once again. That 93 Pepsi Max machine is back out on the circuit with 45 to go. Can he make it work? Can he make this his last stop of the race? We'll have to find out. John Jarrett then. Still running, still going strong in the 5th position. Is that Matt Dalton though, coming up right behind him? I think it is. Jarrett's about to go a lap down. One of only 5 drivers on the lead lap. Burleson. Is Burleson in again? Burleson's in again.
Going back in the pits.
Speeding penalty?
Yeah, it must have been a speeding. We'll have to see what he does here.
Well, that's put paid to Burleson's chances.
Yeah, they're not jacking his car up, so it must have been a penalty of some sort.
A bit eager to get back out then for Craig Burleson. We have 43 to go here at Texas Motor Speedway in round 5 of the monthly Oval Series here on BSR TV. If you play iRacing and you fancy a go at this, it's open to all. It's not even a league session, it's just a regular hosted session, so anyone can jump in. you could be famous, you could be standing on a podium at the end of one of these races. All you've got to do is search for Monthly Oval in the league section and you will find it, and you can apply to that league there. Like I say, you don't need to be in the league to actually be in with a chance of competing in the sessions, but if you're in the league you will get all the notifications and everything else that goes along with it. Burleson now 2 laps down, Plumley 2 laps down, Palmer is a lap down, and Burleson wants to take it easy just coming out of the pits there. He's got 1 speeding penalty already, and those cold tyres won't be right up to temperature just yet.
Yeah, looking at his pit stop again with the speed telemetry, he was going in the pit road speed all the way down, and then at the last second he pushed the throttle too early and got a speeding penalty, by the looks of it.
Well, for the sake of half a second on track, getting a penalty like that, 30 seconds in and out of the pits, plus the hold time, it's not really worth it. But try telling that to one of these guys when the adrenaline's pumping. Burleson gets his lap back from Plumley. Plumley himself is down. Very wide from Palmer there, up at the top on the high line. Now that gap, Graham Short to the race lead, is now 10 seconds because Dalton must have been in again. Must have missed that. Jeroen Kaiser is now leading this race.
Matthew Dalton actually got together with John Jarrett as he was lapping him and spun on the back straight on lap 157.
Well, 4 laps to go. Let's see if we can go back and have a quick look at that one on the replay then. Not sure exactly how far back it was, but let's take a quick look. Now we're on the replay here. It was going so well for Dalton, wasn't it? Undamaged car. And yeah, I think we might have got a little bit too far back on the tape, but here's, we'll roll with it anyway. Here's Jarrett just up in front. We're on about 156 here on the replay. And you can see the advancing Matt Dalton in the background here. Jarrett, well, running pretty well up until that point. And now Graham Short is in with a real chance. He's only in 4th place, but only 9 seconds and closing on the race leader, who's not running the greatest laps. Dalton might have problems as well because his lap times are currently well off. Here comes Dalton on the inside on the replay, and wow, just gets it all wrong. It just absolutely, well, let's go back and have another look at that one. Difficult to say the first time around, but
he slid up the track a bit too much and got in the side of Jarrett.
Yeah, now watch Jarrett's line here. Jarrett's line with the centre of the track is pretty level, and it's Dalton that's moving to the right.
Dalton is in the pits as well now.
And I think that's looks to be Dalton's actually making the contact there rather than Jarrett.
Yeah.
Not the best way to lap a car. Seems to have survived, but at what cost is the question as he's into the pits.
Graham Short has pulled the gap up to the leader down to 8 seconds now. So he's going for it.
Well, all of these drivers will have to stop one more time. We're fairly sure Short will have to stop again, aren't we?
And race leader Jeroen Kaiser just pulled in the pits as well.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Kaiser's last stop of the day, 34 from the checkered flag. Dalton's still in the pits. Bit of damage to repair perhaps.
And Craig Burleson is spun on the back straight.
And that will bring the caution out. Or will it? That's the question.
He's down on the apron. Haven't got a caution yet.
No, so the caution doesn't come out. Well, that could have been Matt Dalton's saving grace if it had come out. Almost caught it. He got the death wiggle on there big time, didn't he, with that? See that on board from Craig Burleson's point of view. There's the wall contact, and he's just right and then left. I can't control it. It's going on me. It's gonna go. It's gone. And then all of a sudden he has a face full of inside wall. On the corner of the wall as well. That wouldn't help the car very much. Burleson's out. Jarrett is in the pits. Looks like he's getting some damage repaired to me, Linus.
Yeah, he's not pulled out of the race, so he's going to try to continue. Obviously, if he drops out now, he'll lose the position to Mark Cunningham, so he will try to stay in as long as possible.
Well, look at that. Mason Dahl in the lead, and Graham Short is now only 2 seconds behind. Well, that's fantastic as John Jarrett comes back out of the pits. Kaiser is in third, but he's a lap down.
Yeah, he's made his last pit stop. He was about almost 7 seconds ahead of Dahl when he pitted.
Well, this is shaping up to be an exciting finish to the race. We genuinely don't know who will take this. After Dalton's incident with Jarrett, I'd have to say Short is going to be the favourite, surely.
Yeah, it depends how well his setup will last and when he decides to pit. But he's definitely going to gain at least 10 seconds on a pit stop compared to these other guys taking 4 tyres.
Well, the gap's now 1.3. He's showing no signs of slowing up, and he will be right on the back of Mason Dahl within a few laps at this rate. So Kaiser a lap down, Palmer a lap down, Dalton a lap down, Plumley and Jarrett. Cunningham still running. Good on Cunningham, and he might well get 8th place from Craig Burleson, who's pulled out of this race. So just by, even though he's 12 laps down, just by staying in the race, he'll pick up even more points.
Yeah, that's the good thing with these point systems. Every position gains you points, and in the end, points can turn out to be very valuable, even if it's only a few.
A couple of questions over in the YouTube channel then. Actually, some information first from... Oh, Mason Dahl is in. We'll come back to that. Mason Dahl in from the race lead. Graham Short promoted to race leader, but he's still to stop. This should be Mason Dahl's last stop of the day with 28 to go to the checkered flag here at Texas Motor Speedway. Tyres for Dahl. Right side goes on. The left side is on the jacks. He's revving, he's ready to go.
Our former race leader before the cycle at pit stop, Jaron Kaiser, has just got loose off turn 4 and gone through the glass as well a couple of laps ago. So that gives Short an even better opportunity to win this race.
Well, Graham Short is now the only driver on the lead lap of this race. Everyone else is a lap down, but don't forget Short will need to stop. No, I'm not even 100% he will need to stop if he's been saving fuel. I mean, he's got a lap ahead of everyone else. He could save fuel for an entire lap and just... Well,
from the onboard view of his car, it doesn't sound like he's doing that though, because he's flat out all the way to the turn and then flat out right away on the straight as well.
Coming back to those YouTube comments anyway, Rob Ross telling us that iRacing has stopped working, so his game has crashed unfortunately, and that's what took him out of the race. It's a shame for Rob Ross, running very well in the championship and in the race. And also Red 15 saying interested in joining. Yeah, sure, have a look in the league section of iRacing, search for Monthly Oval and you'll find it. You can apply to join the league. You don't need to be in the league to join any of these sessions, but it will help with notifications and things like that. But yeah, Palmer and Kaiser are now really close on the track, Linus.
Yeah, Kaiser is moving up the inside and making the pass down the back straightaway.
Palmer's really lacking on pace now. None of these cars can afford to stop again, really, if they can help it, because they'll lose so much time. Not really worth it, even with the lack of pace of some of these cars. Graham Short, easily the fastest man on the circuit, still by quite some margin, almost into the 29 seconds, and he pitted on lap 146 or 7, so he's been going 30 laps on these tyres and they're still serving him very well, so a good lesson in tyre preservation perhaps.
Yeah, it might be he's got a good setup though, but he's had this pace throughout the whole run, so he must have found something really good in the setup that no one else has.
Well, we saw him on several of the caution restarts dropping places really fast, so maybe he's got problems getting this particular setup up to temperature properly, but once it does, it just seems to fly. And 23 to go. Graham Short is, well, he's showing us 2 laps up. Is that right?
No, he's only 1 lap up in my screen.
Ah, the timings have just updated themselves. Yeah, so he is only 1 lap up, and well, that was a weird timing issue.
Probably because he crossed the line and then the others hadn't crossed it all yet.
I have no information on the actual gap between these guys because it's measured in laps at this stage. So a lap is 30 seconds. So Kaiser's at least 30 seconds behind Short in second place. Short will have to stop. That's the thing. Short will have to stop, and we don't know how far behind. It's between 30 seconds and a minute. I'm not sure if you can get that information, Linus, but I know I can't from here.
Well, from manual counting, he is 14 seconds back on a lap, so he's pretty much 1.5 lap behind.
Well, we know the pit stop takes 30 seconds to get in and get out, so it gives Graham Short 14 seconds to do whatever he likes. Change his tyres, take fuel, have a cup of tea. As long as it doesn't take more than 14 seconds at this stage in the race, he will come out victorious. Now that's a good position to be in.
He'd almost be able to take 4 tyres and still come out with the lead here after the incidents with Dalton and Kaiser.
Depends how long he can stay out. If we think 50 laps, he might only need to pit 5 laps from the end.
Yeah, then he'd be good just taking fuel and maybe right side tyres to just make sure he has a bit better pace. Because he will lose only about 2 seconds if he takes 5 laps of fuel and left side tyres. Or right side tyres, sorry.
I'm not even sure I'd bother. Personally, I might just run out the last 5 laps with the tyres I had on before. I mean, he's certainly not slow. He's not the fastest man on the circuit anymore, but it's pretty close. He's still managing.
Kaiser is gaining about 0.2 per lap here, but that's not going to get him very far.
18 to go, Texas Motor Speedway. Graham Short leads this race. Matt Dalton, after colliding with a backmarker, has got himself into a difficult situation. Moves into 3rd place, but he is a lap down, and so is everybody else left in this race. Graham Short has at least 30 seconds, probably 45 seconds, on 2nd place man Jeroen Kaiser. Now,
he's about to put Mason Dahl 2 laps down as well.
How far is the question? How far is Dalton behind Kaiser? Could he get 2nd place here?
I think he could.
7 seconds on by my reckoning. 7 seconds in 17 laps would mean, well, he'd need to make half a second up a lap, and he's nowhere near that pace. But these car setups do go off pretty quickly. We've seen that when the tyres start to get old. Dalton was in pretty early for his last stop though, so those tyres won't be doing him any favours right now, Linus.
No, he's about 0.2 per lap slower than Kaiser as well, Dalton, so he's not gaining anything on the 2nd place car.
That's the view from Texas Motor Speedway as we're about to see whether Graham Short can pull this off on pit strategy alone. Definitely not the fastest man on a new set of tyres, not the fastest man on a restart, not the most consistent at pulling off amazing laps or overtakes, but the most consistent throughout the course of this race, for sure. Kept himself out of trouble, and he's on the verge of what would be a classic victory, you have to say.
Yeah, he's played his strategy well, and he was lucky as well with the incidents there again from Dalton and Kaiser to give him an even bigger edge on these guys with the strategy he played, so we'll see how it works out, as he just got held up by Plumley trying to put him 3 laps down.
Well, here's the thing. So Dalton was 20 seconds ahead of Short before that incident.
Yeah.
Neither driver, well, Short would have had to stop, Dalton would have had to stop at that stage. So Short would have had to stop a lot later, and he would have been looking at making up 20 seconds on a pit stop. That's probably going to put him in second place. At this rate, though, with that Matt Dalton incident earlier on, 13 laps time, about 6 minutes. Graham Short should take that checkered flag, but 13 laps can be a long way when all the pressure's on you, that's for sure.
The question is, though, if we get a caution, does he stay out, try and save his tyres, or will he pit and let the guys come back on the lead lap?
Well, he's got to stay out, surely, because only one of those guys is going to get behind him.
And Jeroen Kaiser will get the wave around, and then if he stays out, it will only be Jeroen. But if he decides to pit along with Jeroen Kaiser, everyone will get their lap back. So, but they'll obviously be on older tyres.
They will, although nobody's tyres will be exactly good as new by now. 11 laps to go. Well, he'll have to come in on fuel anyway. So if the caution does get thrown, well, actually, I don't know.
If he shuts his car off right away and is able to cruise for about 2 laps and then turn it on for half a lap and cruise another 2 laps, it could be good, but I think that's going to be very hard for him to do.
Well, massive fuel saving potential on these cars when they're not doing 200 miles an hour. That's for sure.
Kaiser has pulled the gap down to a quarter of a lap now as well.
So he's a lap and a quarter down, which is going to be about 37 seconds. He is lapping faster. Graham Short's pace has gone. 10 laps to go. He's running in at 31 seconds now.
At the last lap he was 8/10 slower than Kaiser.
Kaiser needs 7 seconds before the end of this race. And if Graham Short pits and takes tyres, that could be all over, because he'll be able to run some really, really fast laps, but that's going to cost him a lot of time in the pits. The question for Short now is, does he take the tyres? Would you take the tyres, at least the right side?
It depends when he pits. If he pits within the next 3 laps, maybe he could take 2 tyres, but if he waits till about 5 laps to go, it will probably be quicker to just take fuel. But then again, he's so much slower on these tyres, so he might, if he gains half a second by taking 2 tyres, I think I would go for that.
Well, those tyres have definitely fallen off the cliff now. He's verging on the 32-second mark now. No sign of Kaiser on the track yet to come up and unlap himself.
No, but he gained 1.3 seconds on that last lap, so he's coming quickly.
Well, Matt Dalton only 12 seconds behind Jeroen Kaiser as well. Graham Short could fall into the clutches of both of them, but no sign of a pit stop yet from Graham Short.
No. Going on board with him though, it looks like he is struggling big time with the grip. His car is pushing up every single turn.
Well, the lap times are really not looking good for Graham Short now, well into the 31 seconds. He's only got 6 laps to go though, that's only 3 minutes more around this track. Can he make it work? Any mistake? Any mistake at the stage? I was just about to say I've put the curse on him. He has put a big ding in the right front wing of that Nationwide machine. And he survives.
Yeah, he's still going though. And that's, maybe if he's lucky, that will loosen his car up a bit and allow him to go faster.
Well,
that's the benefit you can have of hitting the wall when you have a bad setup. Sometimes it helps you.
We're about to find out. 5 laps to go. Is he even going to stop? That's the question. How much fuel has he got in that car? We do not know.
We won't know.
What a fascinating end to this race. Thanks to the strategy of Graham Short. Kaiser will take the lead if Graham Short makes a mistake, or if he takes a very long pit stop. But otherwise, it looks like it's Graham Short's race. 4 to go.
Kaiser has just unlapped himself now.
There he goes. So that gap is now down to 30 seconds. 30 seconds only, and we know it takes 30 seconds to take a pit stop. So if Short's going to need fuel, he's left it too long.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
If he wanted tyres, he would have taken tyres by now. There would be no point leaving it this long to take tyres, I don't believe.
Maybe everyone has pitted early this race and he thinks he can make it on fuel till the end.
It's going to be tight.
I don't see why he would be going this far.
He must want to go to the end. There's no point pitting 2 laps from the end.
No. At least not if he wants to win.
Well, if he can make the fuel last, he has got 29 seconds to play with in the next 3 laps. All he's got to do is coast it home. Doesn't matter if it's running on fumes. If the fuel runs out about now, he is absolutely out of luck, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Good thing for him though is it will only drop him down to 5th place, so he won't lose too much from taking the gamble and pitting. It'll be about 2 positions difference.
He would have pitted by now. I'm fairly certain he would have taken the stop if he needed to take the stop, but
he's coming to 2 to go now. And he's got the lead by 27.5 seconds.
that gap is coming down so quickly, but not quickly enough. Your own Kaiser has got a mountain to climb, unless Graham Short has a problem with the car at this stage. All he's got to do is make it work for the next 1 minute, and the victory is his, but it will be by the skin of his teeth, surely. How much fuel can he really have left in that car? His last pit stop was at 146.
If he makes
laps.
it to turn 2 here, I think he will have the win, as he takes the white flag now. He just needs to make it to turn 2.
Dramatic stuff at the end of this race. Only 8 cars still running. Mark Cunningham still going. He's 11 laps down, but it doesn't matter. He will claim the points for 8th place no matter what. Graham Short's going to do it.
Yeah, he's not running out of fuel yet. His car is still going fine, so he's going to take the checkered flag and win with a nice strategy play.
Brilliant strategy from Graham Short. So we were sure that everyone else needed to stop again, and Graham Short proved us absolutely wrong, doing some horrendous lap times at the end of the race, but it doesn't matter. Over the line, almost by a whole lap there. 24 seconds from Jeroen Kaiser, who is in 2nd place. He's still rounding the final turn now. A really impressive victory from Graham Short. Came out of nowhere to take that one. The 23 of Jeroen Kaiser comes over the checkered flag right now to claim 2nd place. Mason Dahl. What's happened to Mason Dahl? Oh, he's finished already. He's a lap down.
Yeah, he finished in 4th place behind Matthew Dalton in 3rd.
So, Dalton 3rd, Dahl 4th, Palmer 5th, Plumley 6th, John Jarrett, and then Mark Cunningham. And not sure you get to do donuts for coming 4th, Mason, but never mind. Graham Short takes the victory. There's the donuts.
And he's got enough fuel left for that as well. He mustn't have been very close then, as we thought.
Remarkable. Remarkable he can make the car last that long on fuel. Short wins from Kaiser. Dalton 3rd, Dahl 4th, Palmer 5th. Robert Plumley 6th, still finishing well despite not quite the finish he would have wanted. John Jarrett 7th after coming together with Matt Dalton. Mark Cunningham 8th, Burleson 9th, Cotton way behind in 10th place. Only 8 cars actually finishing this race. What a crazy finish that was, Linus.
Yeah, he had more fuel left than what we thought, so obviously he had that under control, as he was able to do the donuts as well without running out of fuel. Everyone must have just
it's one of
pitted
those
early.
things, mate.
Oh, sorry, I must have moved Matt Dalton in a little bit before he was ready, but welcome to the... what's one of those things?
Oh, I was just chatting to John Jarrett about the little clash we had.
Yeah, it's kind of put paid to your chances of victory with that one.
No, I don't think so. I think, to be fair to Graham, I think we were all running a little bit too short on fuel, and we had to stop again, and he didn't. So, he did a perfect little stealth job on us. We were all so busy looking at myself and Jerome and Craig Burleson and a couple of others and trying to figure out what we were doing that we missed Graham being able to pull out some good long runs and eke the fuel out a bit further. So,
well, I tell you what, Graham Short's final pit stop was on lap 146, and we had no idea in the commentary box he'd be able to make it 54 laps. Did you?
No, No, we were all chatting about it, saying, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? And trying to egg him on and wind him up in the race as well, saying, oh, you've got to weave it a bit and make sure you use the clutch, and trying to see if we could get him to choke. But no, great job to Graham, well done to him. And as I was just saying to John, I mean, the clash that I had with John, you know, yeah, he could have left me a little bit more room, but the problem was I was coming around the corner, and as soon as I picked up the side draft from him, the car just started crabbing up, and there's nothing I could do. A complete passenger, so.
Well, I mean, that pit strategy, apart from some light wall contact from Short during the final stage of that race, kept it in check. It was significantly slower at the end, and you and your own were catching pretty quickly, but when you have a lap and a half lead, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think in the end I probably could have got second place, but the win was never going to happen with Graham on that strategy. So, you know, like I said, well done to Graham, and then onwards and upwards.
Now you're third in the championship. You will have closed up a little bit on Robert Plumley, who finished in 6th. No Ellis Stevens this time round, so you would have closed up on him as well. But how certain are you, or uncertain, that you're going to take this title?
I don't know. I don't know what'll happen with the championship, but there's drop rounds and things to come yet, and I am where I am because I missed the round at Auto Club. So once we start taking into drop weeks and things like that into account, I think effectively I've had top 5s or top 3s near enough every single round, so I'm pretty confident.
Well, next time out will be next month, and where we'll be heading that time?
I've got to double check, but I believe it'll be Talladega.
Talladega in 1 month's time. Thanks very much, Matt, and great drive.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and I'll just confirm that for you now as well. It is.
We'll just hang on. And
Next round is Talladega. Yeah, Gen 6 at Talladega. So that'll be a good one. Super Speedway. That'll be too wide for the entire race, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, let's hope we can finish that one with more than 8 cars on the track.
It's a super speedway, I wouldn't hold your breath. That one, though, tends to be not because people disconnect, just because one big wreck and everybody gets caught up in it.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see until next month, but thanks again, Matt.
No problem. Cheers, guys.
Matthew Dalton takes 3rd place and moves up in the championship as a result. We don't have the exact scores for you right now, but at the beginning of the next round we will update you in full. So, another monthly oval is over, and another unexpected result, really. Graham Short snuck under our radar and all the drivers' radars by the sound of it as well, Linus.
Yeah, he played his strategy very well there at the end, and he obviously had a very good check on his fuel to know how far he could go, and just waited it out as long as he could, and until he had few enough laps to make it till the end, really.
Well, join us again on BSR TV on Monday night, 8:40 PM. The Skip Barbers will be out in action once again from Silverstone. Not the Silverstone you're used to, let's put it that way. A little bit of a different layout coming on Monday. Tuesday, GT Sprint Cup. 2 rounds will be coming your way from 8:15 PM. And then Thursdays, we're going to Suzuka in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Looking forward to that one very much. 3 rounds, including the reverse top 10 and the reverse top 20. Plenty of chances to see BSR TV in action this week. And thanks very much for watching this evening. From Linus and from me, we'll see you next time.